Good evening, this is Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. It has been a spectacular collapse of the city of Mumbai, even by the city's own standards, as it was hit with rain 27 times more than the normal rainfall in the last 9 hours. Even now, Mumbai is struggling. People have been advised to stay indoors. There is a forecast for very heavy rain for at least the next 24 hours, and waterlogging has crippled the city. Was this just way too much rain for any city to cope with, or have the BMC's tall claims been busted? That's our big focus tonight. Let's just take you through what the key developments have been in Mumbai today. This is the worst rain crisis in Mumbai since July 2005. Remember, in that particular crisis, people were struggling to get home. They were stranded in their cars and other places all night. So this is the worst rainfall Mumbai has seen since July of 2005. And that is because the city has got a whopping 300 millimeters of rain in 9 hours. That's 27 times the average in one day, which is just incredible, probably incredible for any city to have to handle. Heavy rainfall, as we said, predicted by the Met Department in the next 24 hours. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis telling Mumbaikars to stay indoors. 3 NDRF teams have been called in for rescue as well. Meanwhile, traffic which had been stopped on the Bandra-Worli Sea Link has resumed this evening. Operations also resuming at Mumbai Airport after being briefly suspended because visibility was so low. The Navy has said that 5 flood rescue teams are on standby, and medical teams and divers are also on standby. The Prime Minister spoke to the Chief Minister this evening, assuring all support by the centre. Many suburban trains, meanwhile, are delayed. Tracks are waterlogged, and the Maharashtra government has announced, importantly, that schools and colleges will remain shut tomorrow.
Madam, if I come this side, please, you can go from here. Just go from here.
There's a gutter here?
No, there's no gutter here. Come.
How do I go?
Come. You just come here, yeah. Walk straight.
There's no gutter because there was a gutter earlier.
No, there's no gutter here. You just walk straight. Walk straight. There is a little thing here. Just don't trip. Just don't trip.
Where?
Yeah, you'll see. Yeah. Can you find a platform?
Yeah.
Okay. From where have you been walking?
From Lower Parel station. I came from my office, and the driver had to go because they were not allowing the vehicle, so I decided to walk.
So you got off the vehicle and had to walk because the driver wouldn't go?
No, the driver was not allowed to go by the police.
The fear of 2005 came back to haunt Mumbai today. In a span of 9 hours, the city received 300 millimeters of rainfall. That's 27 times the normal rain in a day. Across the length and breadth of India's business capital, flooded streets, massive traffic jams, cancelled flights, and trains delayed or stopped altogether.
What you see behind me are the almost invisible railway tracks of Mumbai's vast suburban railway network. This is the Bandra station, where trains have come to a grinding halt.
As it continued to rain, offices shut early and people tried to get to safety. Perhaps some of the worst affected were patients at the KEM hospital in Parel, one of the low-lying areas of the city, with people wading through flooded corridors. As the city coped, questions for the BMC, with many Mumbaikars asking, where has all the money given for desilting and sewerage meant to prevent flooding gone? The Chief Minister took the lead, trying to ensure the city stayed afloat.
लोगों को मैं फिर एक बार इतना ही यहाँ पर निवेदन करना चाहता हूँ कि बहुत आवश्यक काम हो तभी लोग घर से बाहर निकले, अन्यथा घर से बाहर नहीं निकले. लोगों ने हमारे ट्रैफिक एडवाइजरीज को देखकर ही रास्तों के ऊपर निकलना चाहिए, अन्यथा रास्तों में भी वो अटक सकते हैं.
As the rains showed no signs of stopping and Mumbai's streets turned into rivers like this, Mumbaikars made desperate bids to get back home, sometimes wading through these streets and sometimes trying to hop onto any mode of transport they could find. While the city's citizens opened up their homes to those stranded and stood by each other in this hour of need, the question is, who And what about the administration? Because these questions have been asked in the past after a deluge and will be asked again. But what is the administration doing, and how could they tackle situations like this better? With camera person Sanjay Mandal, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Well, Saurabh joins us now live from Mumbai with the very latest. And Saurabh, what is the situation like at the moment? Has the rain eased up at all? It doesn't look like it. It looks pretty windy still.
Well, no, the rains haven't eased up yet. And also what we are seeing is that, there is still a lot of, water there. In fact, if I can just show you here, all this water is actually right outside our gates, office gates, and several homes, as you can see, have also been completely submerged, at least waist deep. People are walking in this road. On any other day, this road here would have a lot of people walking to the station. A lot of food stalls are there on the road where people come down for an evening snack. None of that is happening.
It looks like we've lost that connection there with Saurabh. We're just going to try and get back to him, but you could see those live pictures there from just outside our office, which is in Lower Parel in Mumbai. And as Saurabh was showing you there, the pictures showed waist deep water. These are earlier pictures from Dadar. That was at 2 o'clock this afternoon, which actually seems relatively better than what we're seeing in Lower Parel. Saurabh, you're back with us. I know the signal's been really patchy from there, but we can see, if you could just stay in one place. I think if you're moving around, you're losing the signal as well. But we can see that the water is pretty high at the moment, and the Met Department is saying that there's going to be more heavy rain tomorrow.
Well, that's the prediction, and that's what Mumbai is bracing for. It seems that the situation won't get any better, and this is what Mumbaikars will have to put up with for at least the next 24 hours when this rain is actually predicted for. And also what we're being told is that with the high tide receding now, perhaps some of this water will drain out into the sea, because Mumbai has this unique system of lock gates whereby when there's a high tide, the gates are locked, the drains are shut, so that the sea water doesn't come back gushing into the city. And then there are pumping stations at work which pump that water outside. Now with the high tide, there is a problem if it coincides with heavy rain, and that's exactly what has happened today. One is hoping that with this low tide now, after the high tide goes out, perhaps some of that water will drain out, and hopefully things will be better by the night. But again, yes, if there are heavy rain.
All right, it's a really bad signal there. It's been really tough connecting with Mumbai through much of the day. Saurabh, we'll try and connect with you again as soon as we can. We've got Shobha Day joining us from Mumbai tonight, Suhail Seth as well, and Sunil Alag, who also lives in Mumbai, is in Delhi right now, probably really happy that he's here instead, also joining us. Shobha, let me ask you first, you were actually driving, weren't you? I think from Pune to Mumbai today. I mean, what was your experience, your own experience today of driving through this madness?
Well, today was an exceptionally chaotic day in more ways than one. Apart from the deluge, there was a panic reaction in the city, which was equally scary, if not scarier, because all sorts of rumors, you know how it is. They start doing the rounds that they're going to be, the power is going to be shut down, in which case if you have loved ones in hospitals, that's your biggest concern. There were school kids trapped in buses and cars. The roads, of course, were waterlogged, as you know, and all your pictures must have shown you. Driving down from Pune, there was visibility which was not even 5 feet. And all the cars that were speeding by because they wanted to get home in a hurry, all that water was splashing onto windshields, reducing the visibility still further. It was dangerous on the roads. But apart from that, the surprising thing is, if the Met can tell us about tomorrow being an equally bad day, what was the Met doing yesterday? Could they not have warned Mumbai that there was cyclonic build-ups right where, very close to the city? Could they not have also informed citizens to take adequate precautions? Thank God, mercifully, tomorrow has been declared a holiday for schools and colleges. Perhaps the government has woken up late, as usual, but it's an administration that fails the city over and over again, which is something that a lot of us feel very concerned about, very frustrated about. They can't handle potholes, and potholes are simpler than handling an unprecedented deluge, the likes of which we've probably not seen. Not even 12 years ago. It was nowhere close to this, I can tell you that.
You know, there are two things here, and that does come out, Shobha, from what you said.
Expecting the city to...
Sorry, go ahead.
Just to complete what I was saying, that each time we expect the Mumbaikars to rise to the occasion, and they do. They reach out to other Mumbaikars, they offer their homes, they offer food, they offer water. But that is not what one expects from the administration. One expects much more. Can we not expect them to be vigilant and to reach out? By the time a helpline number was put out, it was already too late. No one knew who to turn to. The police were trying their best. I'm sure even the municipal guys eventually woke up. But there's no plan B in place. There's no contingency plan in place.
Yeah.
There can be a situation where a crisis of this kind can be the crisis like Houston. Yes.
You know, two things seem to have happened, Suhail.
One is that citizens can monitor satellite pictures.
Why can't the government?
Yes.
The two things that have happened, Suhail. One is that Mumbai, in any case, has a very, very poor infrastructure. We know that even regular monsoon rain often brings Mumbai to a standstill. Nothing like the pictures we've seen, but we've also seen unprecedented rain today, 27 times more than the normal in a day. You were also tweeting, Suhail, today about your own experience of, you know, having to drive, how many hours it took you, I think, to drive just a few kilometers. What happened with you?
Well, I'd gone to Ghansoli, which is, well, outside the city limits of Bombay for a board meeting, and driving back a distance of about 17 kilometers took about almost 3 hours. But that's not the issue. The issue is today marks yet another day of the government failing the citizen, marks yet another day of apathy ruling the roost, marks yet another day of no matter which goddamn political party is in power, they're all the goddamn same. Scratch the surface, they're inept, uncaring, completely callous, and have no goddamn clue as to how to govern. The BJP talks about being a party of a difference with a difference. My foot, no difference. The BMC, for years we've been saying, is an absolute bunch of scoundrels collected under one building. They remain that. The true heroes today were and continue to remain the Mumbai police and the average common Mumbaikar. You know, the tragedy is calamities are called calamities because they are calamities. But there's something called preparedness, which our governments fail to realize is a word that exists. There's something called forewarning, which there's none of. So the messages that came out were contradictory. The schools and colleges were declared shut at about 5 p.m. in a tweet or a message which was sent out by the Chief Minister. And all the token appearances happened. Fadnavis went to the police control room. You had the BMC Johnnies come and try and operate water pumps when the water pumps themselves were submerged. So the same goddamn baloney plays out every day. In the process, what have you done? You have harmed brand India, which I keep talking about. You have harmed brand Mumbai. You have continued to take advantage of this so-called Mumbaikar spirit, which, by the way, while I laud, I'm against, because the more you use this Mumbai spirit, the politicians take that for granted. They want you to do the work that they're supposed to do. Now tell me, every day in this city there's a low tide and a high tide. Are you not aware of this? And if you're not, then why the hell are you in government? Why do you seek elections? The fact that the mayor of Bombay, whoever it is, whether he or she, was nowhere to be found. They are completely despicable in their approach to governance. And I have to tell you, it's a shame. I really thought these guys would be different. But the tragedy is you've got the Shiv Sena and the BJP in bed in BMC. Wait till tomorrow. Each guy will start blaming the other. Now they will start nitpicking. In the process, what will happen are three things. They will fall back on procedures which they never follow. They will talk to you about things like, oh, it was God that created this calamity, and what could we do under the circumstances? Number three, the blame game will begin with the lowest pawn on the chessboard being sacrificed, much like Khattar sacrificed the DSP in Panchkula. Typical Indian operating procedure. What will we do? We will reunite on a debate like this the next time there's a deluge.
Yeah, in a year from now.
And perhaps at that time Sunil Alagh will be in Bombay rather than smiling in Delhi.
Well, you're right. And I've got all the figures about the BMC's budget, what's been allotted for what, and I want to get a little bit into that and try and understand where this money is going. Sunil, you've heard this, like, Suhail right now seems to be clenching his teeth that you're here while they're stuck there in Bombay. But Sunil, I mean, isn't this valid criticism that we see? I mean, of course, this rain was unprecedented, 27 times more than the normal. All of that is true. But the fact is that the city coming to its knees in the way that it has, and it's, even if it had been a tenth of that rain, that would have happened. It keeps happening in Mumbai. Do you think that the points that Suhail and Shobha have raised today are valid ones, and that this needs to resonate back into the government, into the BMC, into the Shiv Sena and the BJP?
I think what Shobha and Suhail have said makes a lot of sense, but we are carrying on criticizing a lot. Look, what we are good at now, regardless of whichever government we have, is that we are never proactive. And we then go on to say how good we are as a reactive government. Say Haryana, they said how we control things within 3 hours without questioning as to why did we allow it to happen in the first place. Similarly, now Fadnavis and gang are up there saying that look at how we are reacting, we are sorting out stuff, like the Mumbai police are helping, but they were never proactive. Alright, given that. Now, Mumbai will always have this problem whenever we have a high tide, and you got to understand that. Look, ultimately at the end of the day, even if we set up a good drainage system during the day, and if the rain continues at night when high tide comes in, you will have the same problem. Now that part one has to understand. So all I'm trying to say is that, as I've said, we can criticize all of them. In fact, we should, because once again, in another couple of days, we'll forget about this, and 5 or 10 years down the road, again, the same thing will happen. And I think I saw somebody saying that, look, in Houston, also in US, they are having floods. But Houston has had something like 24 inches. We've had only 12. Huh? So one, we've got to compare, and then why can't the Met system, now they are forecasting rain tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be right or not. Why couldn't they do it earlier? We will never do it, because we love to react. As a nation, we are constantly reacting and never being proactive. Now the question, look, fortunately I'm in Delhi today, but I was planning to fly back tomorrow, and if the weather is okay, I will. And I hope Suhail can get back and smile in Delhi, and I can come and weep in Mumbai. But at this point of time, we are in opposite cities, but the problem stays. It stays, and we will continue to react, and then we praise ourselves in saying, wow, what a great government we've got. Look how quickly we reacted. We have to learn to be proactive, and we must not forget these 2 days. We need to go after the BMC, we need to go after the Chief Minister and say, now, what are you planning for the next such deluge?
Okay, so
that's the question as far as I'm concerned.
Something that Shobha and Suhail both said, I want to take that to Gul Panag, who's joining us via Skype from Mumbai as well tonight. Gul, in fact, I have to say that when I looked at Twitter this morning, we had no idea, at least there's no known Met department warning, red alert, any alert from the administration that said that this was going to happen. And I think that's what, I mean, this just took everyone by surprise. I saw your tweet, which had one of these Doppler images of the heavy rain moving towards Mumbai, and that's when we realized that, something's wrong, and Mumbai is going to have a really bad day. Gul, just take us through your day. You've been tweeting also about, help that people can get, safety, steps that they can take to keep themselves safe. What's it been like today for you?
I think it was actually rather surprising that this information that I actually put out earlier today wasn't available or wasn't disseminated in the manner which was available to the public much earlier. I happened to look at the aviation app because, I mean, I keep doing this stuff, and I saw this this low pressure system which was hovering over Mumbai and heading towards Mumbai, and I was quite surprised why it hadn't made news. So that's why I took an image of that app, which is essentially an aviation app, and posted it. And that's when I think the whole Twitter activation started on the subject. I think the one thing that stands out here is that I'd like to say that this is a lot of rain. While we can say that, I remember I just read something what Sanjay Nirupam has tweeted, that this isn't 900 mm of rain in an hour. This is only 250, 300. The different versions coming out. But the bottom line is, as people have said before me on the show, Sunil, Suhail, Shobha, we are a city which has drainage constrictions because of the high tide nature of the city. But also it's important to keep in mind that we don't outrage enough. We do these conversations in environments like these, but throughout the year we don't do sustained accountability campaigns towards the BMC. The BMC has done some work, and their workers have been out. I've been reading what Aditya Thackeray has been tweeting, and they're really doing whatever is the best they can do with the available means. Now that is what we should be talking about. Why are the means not enough? Well, one part is that the city is accommodating way more people than it was designed to. Now, should we not be upgrading our infrastructure to match that? But at this point of time, I think that needs to be seen in balance, because this kind of rain anywhere is going to create chaos. So we can only mitigate the impact on our life. We can't, just to turn around and say, oh, the government did nothing, all of that. We need to be doing this as active citizens throughout the year to make sure our elected representatives are accountable to us. Because we will have this conversation now. It's topical, so it's in the interest of news channels to have this conversation, but then it'll be forgotten. And we'll wait for the next flood to happen. And also awareness for people who form the largest voter base in these elections, in BMC elections. The largest voter base comes from places who are probably far more at risk when a flooding situation happens. So they need to be made more aware. Voter campaigns have to be conducted where you make people aware of what they're voting for and who they can hold accountable.
Well,
that's the long-term solution, but
all
today we can only throw our hands up and say, why didn't we have warning earlier?